And this is what you said, I quote, your words, not mine. The problem with the Christian coalition is not that they are Bible thumpers, parentheses, there are personal beliefs that often result from religious experiences, close parentheses, but that they are bigots. End of quote. Did I quote that correctly?
I believe you did.
Imagine applying for one of the most powerful jobs in America, and then the first thing they pull out is an article where you called white Christians bigots. That's exactly what happened here, guys. And that wasn't even the part that got awkward.
Did you write that?
I did write that when I was 18 years old, or 20 years old, excuse me. I do want to be clear. I do not agree with that today. I wrote that before I went to law school, before I had any kind of
You were a grown woman when you wrote this.
Right.
I'm sorry.
You were a grown woman when you wrote this.
I was 20 years old when I wrote it. It was before I had a professional career.
You were in your third year at Harvard?
I was
a senior at Harvard.
I was a junior at Harvard.
Junior. So you were 3/4 of the way through your Harvard education, and you wrote that.
That is correct. I do not agree with it today. I do want to be clear about that.
Okay. Judge Simmons, let me just ask you a couple of questions. You finished law school in 2004?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you ever tried a case in federal court?
I have not seen there.
Have you ever filed a brief in federal court?
I have not practiced in federal court. My entire practice has been in the state court.
Okay. Have you ever argued a motion in federal court?
I have my entire practice of over 12 years as a prosecutor has been in state court center.
Okay. Have you ever, you serve as a state court judge, have you ever presided over a jury trial as a state court judge?
In the 5 years that I've been on the Superior Court bench, I have been in a moving department, and now I'm the supervising judge.
Have you ever tried a jury trial?
As an attorney, I have tried.
No, as a judge.
As a judge, I have presided over court trials, not jury trials, sir.
No, so the answer is no.
I have not presided over jury trials as a judge.
Have you, in the 5 years you've been on the state bench, have you ever written any opinions, issued any opinions?
Well, sir, I've been in moving departments in the 5 years that I've been as a Superior Court judge. We don't issue written opinions in moving departments on the Superior
Court. So the answer is no?
In the 5 years I've been on the Superior Court, I've been in moving departments. We don't issue written opinions in moving departments.
Okay. What is the standard of review in federal court for questions of fact?
For questions of fact by the trial court, it is clear error, sir.
Okay. What's the standard of review for questions of law?
In the trial court level, de novo.
Okay. What is what's the holding in Map v. Ohio?
Map v. Ohio, since I've been practicing as a district attorney for the last 12 years, as well as a Superior Court judge over the last 5 years, I know what the holding is. It escapes me as I currently sit here, but
okay.
As a
What's the Chevron doctrine? You'll see that a lot.
Yes, Chevron deference refers to an administrative agency that's interpreted its own rule. It created a two-part step test. The first step in that test is whether Congress was clear.
You know it. I got you. What's the political question doctrine?
I have not, as a Superior Court judge and over the last 5 years and as a deputy district attorney for 12 years, I have not practiced in a federal court. So if I am so fortunate enough to be confirmed, I will obviously apply the applicable law.
Okay, I want to talk about the United States Constitution. Is it a doctrine of plenary powers or enumerated powers?
Enumerated powers, sir.
Okay. I yield back 1 second, Madam Chair.
Understand this here. Everyone was young at one time. Everyone had these like pie in the sky notions of like, I don't know, bro, egalitarianist type of thoughts and all this other nonsense that's baked into basically the youth in America. Well, everywhere, right? Specifically in the West, right? But you have to understand here, guys, when you say things, you actually are, you are to be held accountable for the things that you're actually saying, regardless of when you technically said it. That was you when you were at the peak in college. That was the environment that you were around. That was what was being fostered. So of course, right? If you understand this here, guys, so for a second here, The further you get away from rural life and the further you get into the city, you start to realize that people see a lot more than they do technically in rural environments, right? Rural environments is where you generally get like the most amount of like, patriotism and like pull yourself up by the bootstraps type of things here. While people that are generally in like urban areas, they're experiencing kind of a lot more consistently in terms of like everything. Just you name it, they experience it because they're living closer to people and experiencing other people's problems, if that makes any sense here. And I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is that the further you get away from rural America, the more you're going to start experiencing the idea of anti-anything that rural Americans perceive, right? So kind of by default, if you are educated in the United States of America, within some type of big locale or a city, you'll start to realize immediately the anti-religious, the anti-patriotism, all of these things, because to the people that are in these big cities and in colleges, they perceive rural, right, to be less than, less intelligent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's just the default argument. So when they're young, they're being bombarded with this type of ideology and mentality from their professors and from all the other people around them because they're all living the same shared experience, right? So I'm sorry, bro. You are responsible for it. Now, should you be a judge? No. You should not be a judge under any circumstance, guys. Like, if you do not have the ability to look at Americans for kind of who they are deeply, inherently, without immediately disparaging them, right, with some type of, I don't know, bigot mentality type of thing you're placing onto them, then, bro, how can you dare? How do you dare? Right? How do you dare get into a position of power where you have the ability to lord over people you legitimately, by default, hate? This is not a conducive thing. So no, guys, should she be the judge? No. If you have ever said any of these things, I'm sorry, you burned your chance, guys. How can the average American trust this person's motives? I'm just going to go back to that. Like, specifically, if you fall into the category of a Christian in the United States of America, and you walk into her courtroom and she knows that you are a Christian specifically, right? Then what happens? You think you're going to get a fair trial? She immediately thinks that you are this big, bad, terrible person by default because you most likely are coming from a rural area. You believe in patriotism, and these things are mentally anti whatever people in the big cities specifically are looking to have America be, guys. Right? Hopefully what I'm saying is landing correctly, guys, because it's a troubling thing that honestly never really will go away, because it's just what happens when people group together. You start having the shared experience of actually wanting big government. Why do people in like urban locales want big government? Because they see other people's problems all day, right? They look at homelessness and they say, hold on, the government has to fix it. I can't fix it specifically because I have my life to live, right? So the government has to do it. If you start paying attention to how rural people exist, bigger land, all right? They don't see other people's stuff. They see themselves, okay? And they see themselves like, bro, why do I want bigger government on my land? So we just have like intrinsically a different set of Americas within America. And I think we kind of need to kind of come to terms with why people move the way they move. You start moving to bigger cities, you start getting like super highly educated, overeducated a lot of the times for the position that you're going to end up getting, versus people in rural areas that really just do not need all of these things to basically live and exist within. And they also do not see other people's problems. So when people in the big cities are like, we need more government, right? And you're calling this one America, rural people are like, why would I want BLM to come to my land, bro? Right? Why would I want ATF anywhere near me? Why would I need any of these things? For what reason do I need these things? I don't need any of this, right? So we have an issue. Either the cities can't exist how they exist, or rural life can't exist how they exist. That's it here. That's kind of where we are here. But we need to find out. We kind of need to go back to like a happy middle. Online, I don't really see many people that are like kind of in the middle. They may lean slightly one way or other, or another way, on certain topics. But I'm not really sure I see a lot of people who are like not backed into a corner, and that kind of frustrates me in 2026. I'm gonna be honest here. But guys, either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. And YouTube is basically saying that you would like one of these videos here, mainly this one. No, this one here, right? I think that's the one that's been chosen specifically for you to watch. So go watch it, guys. Listen, I'll catch you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day.